Dear master candidates, dear families, parents, grandparents, siblings and friends of our master candidates, on behalf of the Maastricht University and particularly on behalf of the Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences, I would like to welcome all of you here in the St. Jan's Church to this very special meeting of the Board of Examiners. I would like to also obviously welcome everybody who is not able to participate in person but may be following us through the provided live stream. This meeting is special because the only purpose of this meeting is actually to celebrate your achievement, to congratulate you and to present you with your diplomas and certificates. My name is Tanja Adam. I'm the chair of the Board of Examiners. This session is organized in the St. Jan's Church. It's a church that is more than 800 years old, and since 1632, it's the Protestant church in Maastricht. And we're very grateful to the Reformed Council that we can use this unique and particularly festive location for this ceremony. Today, 11 students will graduate from the Master of Occupational Health and Sustainable Work, one of which will graduate cum laude. And first, I would like to briefly introduce the people to my right and left. First, Dr. Inge Haukes, who is the overall coordinator of the master's program. And you all will later receive a little speech in the ceremony by your first supervisors. And our first supervisors are here to my left. We have Professor Aimert Kant, Dr. Nicole Janssen, Dr. Ludo van Amersfoort, and Professor Angelique de Rijk. Since this is an official and formal event, I would like to open it formally with the gavel. And we're going to start the ceremony with a welcome note by Dr. Haukes.
A little bit taller. Thank you, Tanja. Welcome, dear graduates. Sincere welcome to you and your guests at this graduation session of our master program, Occupational Health and Sustainable Work. A graduation ceremony is a special occasion. It's a milestone in your lives. For most of you, it's a demarcation of your student life as you are transitioning to the labor market. And on behalf of all staff members of this master's program, I would like to congratulate all graduates on achieving your master's degree. Well done. This master's program in its current form has been established almost 12 years ago, and it was set up to train experts who are able to advise companies and organizations on the challenges our labor market faces. The themes addressed in this program are increasingly relevant. The curriculum addresses contemporary insights and developments in the fields of work and health and on the labor market. And more organizations in the private sector and the public domain need the expertise of our graduates. Almost every day we can read about issues related to work, working conditions, decent jobs, labor market problems, migrant workers, staffing issues, etc. And these are complex issues in which many stakeholders are involved and various levels are interwoven, local, nationally and internationally. So, why do our current labor market and society need experts in occupational health and sustainable work? First, we see that most employers acknowledge the importance of human resources. People are the most important capital of organizations in the growing services sectors. But also in the industrial sector, human resources are the most important asset. Even a high-tech car factory cannot function without well-trained, committed and vital personnel. And also small and medium-sized companies are becoming more aware that they need expertise in this field. Second, practice and research show us the importance of human relations. It is important for employees to feel connected and related to their work, their team and their organization. And now with the corona pandemic already a couple of years behind us, we see that employers are still struggling with the new normal and hybrid working. It seems that working from home has become more common in many sectors, but this requires a new tool set. And I am sure that you have acquired the expertise and skills to support organizations in this process. Third, European surveys show time and time again high scores on measures such as work pressure, time pressure, working towards tight deadlines, and emotional demands. The digital revolution and the increasing role of technology also pose higher demands on employees. We will also have to respond to the impact of technology and artificial intelligence on jobs, type of work, etc. Not all employees and workers will manage to keep up with the pace of developments. And this raises questions for you as professionals. Do the skills and health conditions of workers adequately match the demands of the current labor market and the fast-going technological developments? Last year, the European Union published a report on European competitiveness written by Mario Draghi and colleagues. And they signal that productivity and high-tech innovation in Europe slow down in comparison with the USA and China. And this can at least partly be explained by employee health and employability problems and the aging workforce of Europe. At the same time, technological developments and changes in work intensity threaten employee health and sustainable employability and hence productivity. Fourth, work-life balance. Many employees and workers are also parents, and more employees are faced with informal care demands. The discussion about work-life balance has gained a completely new momentum during the corona crisis. And moreover, Gen Z starts to enter the labor market, and they come with a different set of norms on the role of work. Different generations will have to cooperate at the work floor. And it seems likely that employers and employees will have to develop new adaptive strategies to deal with work-life balance. And again, I see a role for our graduates. Finally, at the macro level, we can see threats to our social welfare system, and there is a debate about the question whether our current system is equipped for the future. We live in very exciting times in that regard. We also see more debate about the concept of decent work and how that can be achieved for all workers. The United Nations have incorporated decent work and economic growth as one of the Sustainable Development Goals to be achieved by 2030. And since the last economic crisis, the group of vulnerable employees without direct access to occupational health care has grown. More people are self-employed, work in temporary jobs or do project work. And the current organization of the labor market and welfare system has not yet been aligned to these developments. The current geopolitical and planetary health situation make attention for occupational health and decent work even more pressing. Occupational health and sustainable work need allies and advocates who are able to place the topic on the policy and political agendas. In sum, we can conclude that quite some challenges are waiting for you out there. We trust that you will be able to meet these challenges. Fortunately, you have acquired a lot of in-depth knowledge and skills during the past year. Dear graduates, once again, my sincere congratulations. This master year has been very intense. You have studied hard, developed yourselves, met new people, and built a network. We applaud and thank you for your flexibility, resilience, and cooperation. And hopefully you can contribute to the health and decent work of people on one level or another. We hope that we can stay in touch. And I would like to invite all of you to join our Occupational Health and Sustainable Work Group on LinkedIn. This group will provide you with the opportunity to stay informed about developments in the field, job vacancies, and it also provides a means to stay connected with each other and with our staff. Now, I would like to give the floor back to the chair so that we can start with the most important part of the session.
Thanks, Inge. We're going to start the actual graduation now, and I'm going to quickly explain the procedure to you first. I'm going to call the candidates in alphabetical order, and then you will receive your diploma, and congratulations from me, and then you will receive a rose from Inge. Then you can stand right there in front of the chair and your picture will be taken, and then you can have a seat for a minute, because then your first supervisor comes to this place here and is going to address you in a little speech. Yeah? Okay? Okay, I'm going to call the names from this place, because then here it's all free for you to come up to the floor. So we're going to start. I just like before we start, I quickly made, who's Robin? Robin. So in between, we're going to have a little speech by Robin, and I'm going to call you Robin when it's time to come here. Yeah? Okay, so we're going to start, and congratulations to Yair Harzari.
Hi, Chair. Congratulations with achieving your master's degree in occupational health and sustainable work today. You conducted your research in my team, and you used, that's the occupational epidemiology team, and we discussed a lot what you could do, and you were very critical about that. From your former training in medicine, that raised your special interest in mental health. So one criterion was it should be on mental health. The other one, and was even more important, that your topic should give input for changing or for interventions to improve the conditions of mental health. We discussed a lot of possibilities based on these two criteria, and we finally came up with the topic, do psychological job demands have an impact on psychological distress? That was not that interesting, so we added an interesting part to it. Is there a moderating role for sleep quality in this relationship? And that makes it much more interesting and more fun. To answer these questions, you use the data of more than 6,000 workers from the Maastricht cohort study and perform both cross-sectional and longitudinal analysis. Psychological job demands and psychological distress and sleep were measured at baseline, and with 1 year follow-up also for psychological distress. And to analyze these associations, you used multivariate logistic regression, and you studied the sleep quality role by subgroup analysis. These analyses were far from your comfort zone. And here we have Yair at its best. He said, well, I dive into the literature, I look at all kinds of instructions, and most of the time, without any help from me, you were able to perform binary logic regressions, techniques of which you thought that you were never able to perform. And before entering the research, you have probably never heard before. But now you can do that. Your study showed interesting results. Workers with high psychological demands have an elevated risk for developing psychological distress. And indeed, the research showed that within the group of high demands, poor sleep quality had a strong association with high psychological distress. Are we already, because the criteria was, can we already apply it? Not yet, but we are a step further, and further research definitely needed to see whether sleep quality can be used as an intervention to improve the psychological distress among workers. But nevertheless, a big step. Yeah, it was a real pleasure working with you. We had interesting meetings. You were always very committed and a thoughtful student, and you were very well prepared for the meetings. You had a good time schedule, and we had to deviate from it several times. But in the end, it was always you that take the initiative for that. So thank you for our interesting collaboration on this point. So congratulations again, and I wish you and your beloved ones a very good celebration today, and wish you all the best and a prosperous career ahead of you.
Thank you very much.
Our next candidate, cum laude, graduated Robin Heinen.
Dear Robin, best Robin, today you have reached the end of your Maastricht journey. Special congratulations are in place, Tanja already mentioned it, because you managed to graduate from this program with honors, cum laude as we say in Dutch. Your thesis project focused on how to support employers with their employees' sustainable employability. You performed a critical reflection of the so-called VitoScan, which is a tool designed by a consultancy agency to assist employers in assessing the vitality of their work environment. You first performed a literature review, and you compared the VitoScan with recent scientific insights in the field of sustainability and vitality. And to your surprise, and also leading to a lot of extra work, you found and thoroughly analyzed the large amount of 25 studies regarding the content, aspects, and influencing factors of sustainable employability. On top of that, second, you performed interviews with 10 stakeholders and experts in the field of sustainable employability and vitality to get insight in their perception and evaluation of the VitoScan. And this qualitative study further increased our understanding of sustainable employability, the importance of leadership, management, and organizational structure and culture. And you concluded that the VitoScan has the potential to be a useful tool to evaluate an organization's policy regarding sustainable employability. But you also made several suggestions for further improving the instrument, such as including employees more explicitly in the scanning procedure and putting more emphasis on leadership, management, and organizational structure and culture. You have already presented the results of your thesis to the organization who gave this assignment for this research, and they were very satisfied with your work. During the process of writing your thesis, you encountered several hurdles, but you remained dedicated to the project. Sometimes you were uncertain about your academic and writing skills, but there was no reason for that whatsoever. You managed to perform high-quality research using multiple methods, you collected your own data, and you wrote a solid and relevant thesis. Robin, I hope that you can apply the things you have learned in this research and in the master program in your daily and future work, and that you now have more time for your personal life. For today, be proud, enjoy, and take some time to celebrate this excellent achievement with family and friends.
Maike Hiemela.
Dear Maaike, colleagues, friends and family, congratulations today. And writing a thesis, and especially a thesis which involves data analysis of a complex longitudinal data set, provided an interesting challenge for you. You are interested in factors that might help or hinder workers with a myocardial infarction to remain active at work, an ever-pressing issue as the workforce is aging and more workers have cardiovascular diseases during their working careers. It proved quite challenging and a puzzle to find the timing and the severity of medical events in a large data sets like the Maastricht cohort study. It took quite a lot of effort to look at potential risk factors and work-related outcomes over time, because you had to time the event of the myocardial infarction with risk factors and the outcome later on. But your perseverance, enthusiasm, and positive attitude proved to be important elements which enabled you to finish your thesis on barriers and facilitators for work participation among workers with a myocardial infarction. You are well prepared for the meetings, and you came to thesis meetings full of energy and ideas. So you managed to overcome all the problems you encountered, mostly by yourself with little help, and it was a pleasure supervising you. You found indications that, against your expectations, the amount of workers that stopped working after myocardial infarction was relatively low. Even with this low number, you found indications that co-worker social support and psychological job demands were associated with absence from work after myocardial infarction. A good starting point to build upon approaches to address the growing number of workers who experience these events during their working career. So, dear Maaike, I wish to congratulate you with your master's degree in occupational health and sustainable work, and wish you good luck in the rest of your career. Celebrate this day, and also on behalf of the second supervisor, Nicole Jansen. Congratulations.
Sanne Huber.
Dear Sanne, congratulations with achieving your second master's degree, now in occupational health and sustainable work. You conducted your master's thesis research at the research unit of occupational epidemiology, and you focused on the aging workforce, where the rising prevalence of musculoskeletal disorders presents a major challenge indeed. And you examined the impact of low back and neck pain on the workability over time, and also explore the role of potential modifying factors such as physically demanding work and workers experiencing high levels of need for recovery. Knowing that this topic would be challenging, both conceptually and also methodologically, you immersed yourself in the relevant theory and data analysis techniques required to answer your research questions properly. And for your analysis, Sanne, you used data of over 1,900 aging workers from the Maastricht cohort study, and your results indeed show that low back and neck pain among workers was statistically significantly associated with poor physical work ability over a period of 2 years follow-up. Stratified analysis, amongst others, also show that low back and neck pain combined with doing physically demanding work further increase the risk of poor physical workability over time. And your findings as such also underscore the importance of identifying and addressing work-related factors to support sustainable employability among aging workers dealing with such pain complaints. Your thesis resulted in a sound scientific paper, which you are now, together with the occupational epidemiology staff, preparing for submission to an international scientific journal. Throughout your master internship, you've shown great initiative, innovative ideas, responsibility, and really outstanding conceptual and analytical abilities. This, combined with your enthusiasm, your inquisitiveness, and also your engagement, both in your work and other interests, it has been an absolute joy to work with you this year. Sanne's outstanding work this year certainly has not gone unnoticed, and I'm very pleased that we can share with you today here that the Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences of our university has decided to nominate Sanne for the National Research Prize by Unilever. The winners of this prize will be announced in November, but surely this nomination in itself already is a remarkable recognition of all your work and effort, something you can be truly proud of. Looking ahead, Sanne, you expressed that you really wanted to remain active in doing research, and as of September, you work at the Nederlands Kenniscentrum Arbeid en Longaandoeningen, where you conduct research on soy allergy among workers in the soy processing industry. And as such, you remain contributing to health-promoting projects to improve employees' sustainable employability. So congratulations again, Sanne, and I wish you and your family a very nice celebration today and all the best for a prosperous career ahead of you.
Amin Khalilinejad.
Dear Amin, colleagues, friends and guests, and hopefully family on distance, it was almost a year ago that we discussed topics for your thesis. And you would really like to work with air quality more than the psychosocial work environment, which is the topic of most of the theses from occupational health to sustainable work. So this was because of your background and your interest. It was quite a challenge to find a good project to work on for you. So for you as an audience, you might take a few seconds to consider the air quality here. And I had hoped that it was very cold in this church, but it's reasonable. But think about working here all day in this atmosphere and this air quality. It might impact how you work. And that was the topic Amin was trying to work on. But starting with an idea is one, but having good data to work on was a second. And with the help from Stefan Flagner, who couldn't be here today because he's working in Switzerland, a former occupational health and sustainable work student, we were able to find an interesting data set which you could further analyze on the indoor air quality and health. And Stefan gathered data from an experiment where health complaints, often related with sick building syndrome, were compared in students and staff working and studying in a well-certified building as compared to working in studying in another, more old-fashioned building. And the well certification, that's a certificate which proves that the building is constructed on and rebuilt with strict sustainability and air quality in mind. So, using and analyzing these data, models and coding in both Python and R, two programming languages aimed at data analysis, you were able to analyze this data, and yes, you use two languages, so it's either you really love statistics or you were unable to choose between these two. So that's still a puzzling matter for me. But through all these lines of code, you managed to turn the complex numbers into meaningful insights. You found that being in a well-certified building modestly reduces some symptoms as compared to working and study in the other building. The clearest effect was observed at springtime, so a lot of air pollution is in the air, as well as allergens. And you found that especially headaches complaints rose significantly less in this well-certified building as compared to the other building. So behind the successful finishing of a thesis is a story of perseverance, of working far away from your family, who remain in uncertain circumstances, and yet staying focused and hopeful. Dear Amin, I wish to congratulate you with your master thesis in occupational health and sustainable work, and wish you good luck in the rest of your career. Congratulations also on behalf of Aymat Kant, your second supervisor, and Stefan Flagner, who helped with the data analysis and gathering the data. Congratulations.
Nicole Koop. Congratulations, Nicole.
Liebe Nicole, gratuliere. It's very nice for me to be able to congratulate you on your master's diploma today. Your journey started in 2022. For a variety of reasons, and your academic qualities not being one of them, it took a bit longer than anticipated to complete the program. But you formally graduated earlier this year, and now here you are, receiving your diploma. I had the pleasure of accompanying you on a large part of this journey. Your thesis topic was close to my interest. You performed an extensive psychometric analysis of a measurement instrument for sustainable employability, the MICE-EASY, which was developed for employees working in lower-skilled jobs. Strangely enough, employee perspectives are often overlooked in needs assessments and intervention development for sustainable employability. And by means of the MICE-EASY, employers can take the employee perspective into account. First, you performed a literature study to review existing measuring tools for sustainable employability, which appear to be scarce. And second, you performed extensive and advanced analysis of a large data set, including data from low-skilled employees from 7 Dutch companies in various sectors. The results of these analyses showed good validity, reliability, and sensitivity of the MICE-EASY. And you also made several adjustments which increased the internal logic and usability of the instrument. And we aim to use this MICE-EASY 2.0 version in future projects and research. And this instrument can serve as a user-friendly tool for employers to conduct needs assessment and develop targeted interventions. During the whole process, you showed very good initiative and commitment. It has been a pleasure to be your supervisor. Our meetings were both effective and enjoyable, and we're currently in the middle of the process of publishing this paper, so our cooperation has not yet come to an end. Nicole, I wish you the best of luck finding your way on the Dutch or German labor market. I'm confident that you will do well in your future career. So enjoy this moment and celebrate together with partner, family and friends. Have a good day.
So Nicole, based on Inge's speech, I assume you're from Germany. So then your last name is probably pronounced Köp and not Koop. Okay. So this is... Okay, yeah, I can imagine since you're in the Netherlands. But like, this is a very international crowd, so if I do not pronounce your name correctly, this is absolutely not intentionally, and don't take that personally, please. So we're coming now to our little intermezzo, and I would like to ask Robin to the floor.
Thank you, Tanja, and thank you, Inge. You asked me to speak a few words on behalf of my fellow students, and you urged me to keep it positive and nice. I wonder why she felt the need to add that. But yeah, no worries, because positive and nice is absolutely how the past year have been. I think we had really a great group of people, not only on the educational activities, but also when having lunch in the park or the great barbecue we had. And I think what really stood out for me is how different and diverse we all are in ages, in personal background, cultural background, nationalities, and it showed. Because apparently when you try to make an appointment around lunchtime, there's a 5-hour time difference across Europe for lunchtime. Some students said, yeah, they could confirm the Dutch bluntness, and we had to explain that those people were just really rude and not just blunt. And for me personally, still feeling quite young, but one of the youngest students called me a fossil last year. But I think it is thanks to all those differences and this diversity that it has been such a fantastic time. I think it enhanced our quality in the tutorial groups. I think it also broadened our views and perspective on a personal level. So what I really would like to ask is, let's embrace this diversity. Let's continue this inclusive mindset. Let's use our knowledge to create a healthy workplace for everyone. And just remember to apply everything we learned to our own careers so that we can drive ourselves and our energy, enthusiasm will transfer to others. Thank you for a great time.
Thank you very much, Robin. That was very positive. Then we're going to continue with the ceremony, and our next candidate is Angelos Kokotis.
Dear Angelos, there you are, your master's degree in the pocket. Congratulations on achieving this important milestone for you. Already in our first meetings, you expressed a strong interest in the mental health and well-being of workers. And for your master thesis, you therefore focus on studying the prevalence of anxiety complaints among Dutch workers, and moreover, you decided to investigate associations between anxiety levels and different dimensions of workability of workers, a topic which is highly relevant in this field of occupational health and sustainable work. And based on data of 2,900 workers that participated in the Maastricht cohort study, you applied a wide range of analysis to answer all the research questions that you had for your project. And throughout, you really demonstrated good conceptual abilities. A striking example for me was the way how you approached, how you studied, and how we discussed this complex construct of anxiety. And your findings, based on all the analysis that you conducted, really showed relevant differences in prevalence rates of anxiety across key groups of workers in the Dutch workforce. Moreover, you also found clear associations between anxiety and workability, indicating that those workers who experience elevated anxiety levels had an almost fourfold higher odds of both poor physical and mental workability. These are important findings, and in your thesis you also provided valuable directions for future research on this subject. Angelos, you can be very proud of all your accomplishments this year. It really has been a great pleasure working with you through all these months. You have been a very committed and also a very thoughtful student. You are really sensitive to others' health and well-being, and always eager to contribute to a very positive working atmosphere. Congratulations again, Angelos. I wish you a very good celebration today, together with your dear ones and your family who came over from Greece to celebrate. And I wish you all the best for a very successful and prosperous career ahead of you.
Thank you.
Elia van Nuland.
Dear Eliane, congratulations with achieving your master's degree. You also conducted the research for your master's thesis at the research unit of occupational epidemiology. And drawing on your experiences and own observations in other work environments, such as the hospital setting, you aim to explore a possible link between health conditions and presenteeism behavior among workers. Presenteeism refers to the phenomenon in which employees do attend work despite experiencing physical or psychological health problems that may actually hinder their ability to perform effectively. For your research, you analyzed data of over 3,000 workers, also participating in the Maastricht cohort study, and your findings show that chronic conditions among workers indeed were associated with an increased odds of presenteeism, not only in the cross-sectional analysis that you conducted, but also in the longitudinal analysis over a 2-year follow-up period. You moreover examined and illustrated the complex role of self-perceived health in these associations, and you propose several valuable directions for future research to continue on this important topic. Well done. By joining this master's program, you not only chose and started a different academic journey, but you also became an important representative for the master program as a whole through your role as a student ambassador for your academic year, something we of course all greatly appreciated. Working with you this year has been a great joy. Your enthusiastic attitude, Eliane, your always positive outlook, and your boundless energy are really contagious. So please do keep them. Congratulations once again, Eliane. Enjoy a very nice and wonderful celebration today with your loved ones, and I wish you every success in your future career.
Thank you. Christine Thalmann. Congratulations.
Liebe Christine, gratuliere. This is all the German I dare to speak in public, so this is it. Sorry. Congratulations, you made it. I am proud and glad to be able to address you today, as you have been a most remarkable student. You were a very active master student, which showed from active participation in projects and tutorial group meetings, and your membership of the student evaluation panel of our program. And your well-balanced and constructive input was highly valued. Your approach to your master thesis project was extraordinary. Your preparation of meetings was thorough, you were very proactive all through the thesis project, and your qualitative data and analytical skills are well above master student level. Not surprisingly, you have written an outstanding thesis. The thesis addressed a very relevant topic: how to improve effectiveness of interventions for sustainable employability. In practice, the effectiveness of this type of intervention is limited, often due to failed implementation. And your aim was to develop and pilot test a screening tool for assessing organizational readiness to change and implement interventions. You used multiple methods. You performed a scoping review, and you collected qualitative data through 12 interviews with 3 stakeholder groups. Among many other things, you found that strong management commitment, sufficient resource allocation, supportive leadership, and participatory practices in organizations are important conditions for optimal implementation. Moreover, you found that sustainable employability is a complex construct, which is embedded in the organizational system. The effectiveness of interventions is shaped by the dynamic interplay of structural, cultural, and interpersonal elements. Based on the results of these 2 studies, you developed and programmed an online screening tool called Precede. This tool has a very thorough foundation, looks very good, and can easily be used by organizations. It is already available for use. And you also performed a pilot test of the tool with 5 participants using the Think Aloud method. All in all, this has been very impressive, and I hope that we can publish about your thesis and the future use of the tool you have developed. Christine, I wish you all the best and good luck in your future career, and I wish you a very pleasant and memorable day.
Viel op het veld.
Dear Phil, congratulations with your well-deserved master's degree, also to your relatives. I don't know where they are, in which direction. Okay, the fence. If there is one student that has demonstrated perseverance, well, there are others, but if there is one in my group of students during the thesis project, it is Phil. Phil, you had to take numerous and unexpected hurdles to make sure that all essential ethical measures were taken. Informed consents appeared to be lost. The ethical review board kept on asking questions, while we both had thought that our answers had been crystal clear, and so on and so on. And that was not your only stress during the thesis period. You combined writing the thesis with working as a cook in a restaurant with adverse working conditions. And I noticed that you handled stress by staying optimistic. Optimism is also a key word for you. That is a very good strategy, but sometimes this might lead to fatalism and underestimating one's potential for improving the situation yourself. But you are very mature in distinguishing between situations that can be changed and those you just have to adapt to. You left your workplace for another and just continued with getting ethical approval. Well, you did get it, we did get it, and you studied the problem of sickness absence because of stress complaints and burnout. This is, as you have heard today, also a major cause of absence, but that's not because of its prevalence. Workers report sick because of bad cold far more often than because of stress, but because of its length. So sickness absence and shortening the absence is of importance. So you analyze the perspectives and opinions of occupational health stakeholders on barriers in supporting this return to work of employees with stress-related complaints and burnout. And you found many barriers. Financial constraints
on frequent support, suboptimal cooperation with the employee, but also between the professionals, suboptimal content of the support because of lack of work accommodations, poorly timed consultations, lack of knowledge of stress-related issues by occupational health professionals, and some also said that the current guideline is too medically focused. Well, I hope to use your insights in, for example, training occupational physicians and also improving the guideline. But additional to that, regarding these bottlenecks, we can conclude that you would be the perfect professional to improve the situation. And you are also a good communicator. You have outstanding knowledge of work stress in many respects, both practically and you also have experience with work accommodations. So I have full confidence that you will find your way, and I wish you a lot of success with your career. And today, a very good, real celebration. Congratulations.
Fleur Verstegen.
Last but not least, dear Fleur, congratulations with your well-deserved master's degree, also to your relatives. I always try to see whether parents resemble the student, but sometimes it's difficult. But here you can see it. Okay, when I think back to our meetings, I see a friendly, and you can see it also here, a friendly, interested Fleur with an honest smile on her face. Very professional also. The perfect nurse, making the other feel comfortable and being able to listen. Indeed, you have been working as a nurse for quite some time, and you have done several studies in the healthcare field. We both know that behind that smile, intensive experiences are stored that give you more life experience than average for your age. And with your character, your knowledge, your skills, and all these experiences, you got the right support for writing just a very good thesis. You studied the intention to leave the job in nurses below the age of 35. And for you, this was more than a personal question. You are in that age group and in that job. But you were worried about the labor scarcity in healthcare. Today, we see generally more frequent transitions between different jobs. Some boomers refer to them as job hoppers, but it's rather a sign of the times. We have more flexible contracts and we have many vacancies, and these offer opportunities for job hopping. However, healthcare workers, they also leave the sector more often. Of the 5 healthcare workers who leave their job, 2 quit totally the sector. And that is because this is such a large group, 20,000 healthcare workers per year. So what did you do to get more insight into this topic? Well, you interviewed 14 very different nurses in our own Maastricht UMC. And you put a lot of effort in recruiting that large variety of nurses. You made self-designed posters and they were distributed in the hospital. You interviewed them when they had short breaks, during lunchtime. If they happened to not have any breaks, then you came back at another time, and so on and so on. And your analysis showed that their turnover intention, as we call it, is something that develops gradually and it's dynamic. The problem is a growing imbalance between efforts and rewards in a situation of lack of resources. Typical high efforts here are the heavy workloads, the irregular shifts, and the lack of autonomy. A striking example of lack of rewards was which you found was the experience of having to wear torn clothes with stains and very unfortunate, and I sometimes use this as an example. It's also a very important reward that your clothing, your hospital clothing is white and clean. And also they felt that they got insufficient support from the hospital management. Major important resources are the learning opportunities, particularly in our academic hospital, the team cohesion that you feel, and a motivating team leadership. So you found clear-cut directions for our academic hospital to retain their young staff and beyond our hospital. I'm also sure for you that you will find your path with all your knowledge and skills and with your quality to balance heart and brain, as you also wrote in the preface of your thesis. I recognize that. I hope, though, that you will find an employer who knows the art of balancing efforts and rewards. Enjoy today.
So before we come to the end of the ceremony, I have a few personal words from my side. They're actually not my words. I borrowed them from a columnist named Mary Schmich, and this was published as an essay in 1997 in the Chicago Tribune. It was also released for the parents who are more my age, they may remember this, as a song by Baz Luhrmann, which was called the Sunscreen Song. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2025, wear sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proven by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. I will dispense this advice now. Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. Oh, never mind. You will not understand the power and beauty of your youth until they've faded. But trust me, in 20 years from now, you will look back at photos of yourself and recall, in a way that you can't grasp now, how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked. Don't worry about the future, or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never crossed your worried mind, the kind that blindsides you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. Don't be reckless with other people's hearts, and don't put up with people who are reckless with yours. Don't waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, it's only with yourself. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what to do with your life. The most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't. Maybe you'll marry, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have children, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll do the fun... Excuse me. Maybe you'll divorce at 40. I didn't want to mention that for some reason, probably. Maybe you'll divorce at 40. Maybe you'll dance the funky chicken on your 75th wedding anniversary. Whatever you do, don't congratulate yourself too much or berate yourself either. Your choices are half chance, so are everybody else's. Enjoy your body. Use it everywhere you can. Don't be afraid of it or what other people think of it. It's the greatest instrument you'll ever own. Get to know your parents. You never know when they'll be gone for good, and be nice to your siblings. They're your best link to your past and the people most likely to stick with you in the future. Accept certain inalienable truth. Prices will rise. Politicians will philander. You too will get old. And when you do, you'll fantasize that when you were young, prices were reasonable, politicians were noble, and children respected their elders. Respect your elders. Don't expect anyone else to support you. Maybe you have a trust fund, maybe you'll have a wealthy spouse, but you never know when either one might run out. Don't mess too much with your hair, or by the time you're 40, it will look 85. Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it. Advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing the past from the disposal, wiping it off, painting over the ugly parts, and recycling it for more than it's worth. But trust me on the sunscreen. So 11 candidates received their master diploma, and before we close and you all go out and start your well-deserved celebrations, great day for celebrating, I have 2 last assignments for you. First, we did check the information in your diplomas very carefully, but it's always possible that we made an error in your name, in a grade, or in the attachments that you find in your binder. If that's the case, then please contact the Board of Examiners and we'll fix that immediately. In about 6 weeks, a link to the pictures that were taken today will be sent to your email account by the Alumni Office. And with that, we've come to the end of the session, almost. It was a great pleasure for me to be the first one to congratulate you. And from this place, obviously, and of course, I would like to also congratulate all parents, siblings, grandparents, whoever is here, to celebrate with you. And I'm pretty sure that all of you are very eager to congratulate your new master in the family personally and yourself, and therefore I would like to invite you to the Grand Café Soiron on the Vrijthof, and you all find vouchers for drinks in your certificates. And as I officially started this meeting with I just wanted to mention the group photo. Like when we are finished, then I would suggest a group photo of you will be taken on the stairs. So I would suggest the masters are leaving the church first, and then all the families can walk after you, and you can have that group picture be taken. So as I officially started the ceremony with the gavel, I will also close it with the gavel. And now you go out, celebrate. Congratulations.